I'm with you, though, like on the question of turn from a player to build with to build around. I don't know if I see that for Ayo. I'm not saying it's not possible.
Sure.
But I agree with what you said, Dave, is like, and let me preface it. I'm not comparing Ayo and his potential career trajectory to Jimmy Butler's.
Dang, he's in my brain.
But
so
Bulls
hard.
fans saw Jimmy Butler as a player who was like, had to scrap to get minutes, was a role player by definition. Tibbs said, go out there, play 40 minutes, play as hard on defense as you can. And then out of necessity, we saw Jimmy Butler turn himself into a legitimate scoring threat.
Correct.
Because the team needed someone to score.
Correct.
In a similar way, we saw those nights from Ayo, especially down the stretch this season. Kobe's out with a hip. You know, so-and-so isn't shooting well tonight. And then we saw these nights where it's like Ayo 25, Ayo 30, Ayo 35.
Right.
If he can do that and be that player, or at least the threat of that player on the offensive end consistently as he is progressing through his early and mid-20s, then yes, you can talk about building around that player.
That word right there, Will, threat. You know what I mean? Like, I talk about having shooters here on this team who are threats. It's like, no, I don't want people. I know people can shoot, but I want somebody who's a threat. You know what I mean? To score, so teams have to worry about it. If he's right, if he's a threat to get 20 a night, oh my God, that's a different kind of basketball player.
Much the same way the guys, like when you're talking about real contending teams, I mean, MPJ and Aaron Gordon are both great examples of that.
Correct.
They are not the leading scorers of that team. On certain nights,
they might get you 30.
If Jokic's shot is off and he's missing his bunnies, or Jamal Murray is banged up, or Jamal Murray is out, the Nuggets can look at MPJ or Aaron Gordon and we're like, we need 20 from you tonight.
Oh, Jamal Murray's throwing heat.
That's why I was sort of confused that we kept having a conversation about, like, letting Ayo and on some level Kobe, work their trade value up, and then like those Ayo include, those are the guys I wouldn't trade just because of potentially still untapped potential.
Yeah.
And I understand about maximizing value. Clearly this front office does not care about that.
Yeah.
Based on some of the moves that they have made.
And haven't made.
Haven't made is bad. But
what is Caruso still
I don't know.
doing
I did see a comment, I think, from Julia earlier, which was talking about Jimmy, he was talking about Lowry, and it's obviously wishful thinking, but Bulls have had more cases than not about moving off a guy a little bit too early. And I just what you've seen a lot from Ayo in terms of his progression. Where why do you have to assume this is the cap? Why are we putting a ceiling on him?
Yeah, no, I'm not putting a ceiling on any of these guys, man. Like, I've stopped doing that. You know what I mean? I learned my lesson from Jimmy Butler. You know, about putting ceilings and caps on people. I was done after that. I just want these guys to continue to get better and continue to grow. I don't think it's wrong or something that's terrible that people just want to put caps and ceilings on them. They're just going by what they see. You know what I mean? Out there. That's fine. But Ayo and Kobe continue to prove that you can't put these lids on top of them. Ayo is just probably an even better example than Kobe because we just knew. You know what I mean? Like, we thought it was the odd man out, as you stated, Will. Thought it was the odd man out, the last signing. Was it the Nets that he was potentially being talked about going to? I think it was the Nets. They were like, he might go
last offseason?
Yeah, in the offseason. So we just didn't see the room for him, on the team. And then he always said, I'll play anywhere. You know what I mean? Which is what you want to hear from a hooper. Like, I'll play any position, do anything. But he ain't just say it. He really went out there and he did it. He was everything that they needed, man. So I like the fact that he learned some things from Caruso as well, because I think all those guards do.
Yep.
And I think that that's just going to make him and continue to make him better, which is another reason I don't worry about him defensively. But I just think it's going to continue to make him better. But if he gets to that point where he's at 20-point threat, where if he might score 40 in a game on somebody, it's up, as the children would say.
Yeah, to me, it's like, I think Ayo right now, what's kind of crazy about it is, like, there was one play that they run for him. It was that pistol action that I broke down at some point this year where they're like giving him a handoff on a runway to the rim. Like, that's it. He's just doing it through transition play, right, through opportunistic cutting and attacking of closeouts and hitting threes. If there is a point, and to be able to put up 17 points per game doing that, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
That's a really good player. But to me, again, that's a player that you build with. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need players to build with.
Yeah.
But to get to a point where you're building around him, to me, it's like, can we run some offense through you? Can you be making decisions and playing mistake-free basketball and creating offense for other players on this team. Because I think he's really good at finding his own kind of avenues and lanes into the basket, just being kind of like slithery and getting to the rim. I want to see a little bit more creativity, and I want to see him get to a point where he is facilitating, and like I said, the Bulls are able to play through him on the offensive end. To me, that was the jump that Jimmy made, to where he's not just a 3-and-D wing. Now he is a mistake-free 20-point per game, 5 assists kind of guy, and that is a superstar player.
We all silly like the mayor.